the great privilege of being a developer is that we are afforded a blank canvas every which time we embark on our development. Now this morning, I think Usain Bolt did the 200 meters again. He wanted. It was a start and triple. And what the commentator said was that how many more Everests can he conquer? Now, as a developer, there are no limits to the number of Everests that we can climb and conquer. Usain Bolt might, and we hope that he can do one more Tokyo, but that will be the end of matters. But as a developer, every new site is a blank canvas, and it allows us to tell the story we want told, and we can tell it with the wildest imagination, so long we answer what our subscribers ultimately want. So I think the excitement of being a developer compared to an athlete is that we can take on as many Everests as we so desire, so long as we embrace the industry and so long as we still have breath in us. That is the beauty of being a developer. And if you ask me, would I choose to be an athlete or a developer? A developer every single time. When there are obstacles, essentially, I think somebody raised the bar or the playing field is no longer leveled. What we must do is to first level the playing field and then tilt the balance back in our favor. And that is how I would look at obstacles every which time. And how do we go about doing it given the present economic headwinds? Go back to fundamentals. Build smaller units, more affordable units, get the best possible location, and deliver it in the best possible quality. That is how we always overcome obstacles in our industry. Do not get overcomplicated. Level back the playing field, meaning go back to what is your cost plus a little bit of profits to cover your overheads. Live longer, fight that battle again, and subsequently tilt the so-called playing field in your favor. That's how we look at obstacles as perhaps another way of looking at more ways to reinvent ourselves, to come up with more digestible products and able to look forward to new challenges. I would imagine that 2017 and going forward 2018 would be substantially the same. What has been happening the last 2 years is that the rentals market has not been substantially so-called boosted, meaning that I think the so-called investors or potential homeowners kept their money. They sort of kept it under their beds or in the banks, and they kept it safe. There will be a huge appetite going forward for owner-occupier, meaning they buy to stay. From the investor's point of view, I think they will still be looking at Chinese-driven locations, possibly, and they will be looking at third or fourth generation so-called markets, meaning the propensity to invest will be substantially much more. I think if you were to look at speculative market, I think there will be a dampener for the next 2 years, and I think increasingly, I think the banks are going to liberalize their so-called lendings, and that will stir up the owner-occupier market. If you ask me, the outlook for 17 and 18 commercial properties might be retarded, but owner-occupier homes will be driven, I would imagine, in the second half of 17. So for any of my colleagues, I would share, our so-called thoughts that it is a good time to make acquisition and to make the submissions and to plan for the uptake. I think if we are not there, if we are not ready, when the market recovers, I think we are essentially queuing for the next downturn. Those are my thoughts. The tips, as we always share, Ipoh London or anywhere or Paris, is always location. Given the so-called state or the city, we always want to advise our friends to invest in the best possible location. Then, of course, the quality of the developer, their paid up, and their reputation, it is very important. Those are the factors that investors must take on board when evaluating their investments. Now, particularly for commercial properties, because they are not priced out, I would advise investors to look into integrated development, not just a few shops by themselves, but integrated it with hypermarkets and also a substantial township along with it. So for residentials, it would be locations again. I think that can never be wrong, and how it is integrated in a total development, whether it has hypermarkets or all the amenities in place. Security is and forever going forward will be an issue. So any so-called development that would have all of this on board will be my recommendation for our investors to look into Ipoh. Thank you.